In today's video, we're talking about a question about photoradar that we get quite frequently. It's, what do I do if I've been served with multiple photoradar tickets all at the same time? This happens pretty frequently. People will be at home, somebody will come to their door, a process server, or in some situations a police officer, and they will hand them a stack of paperwork. That stack of paperwork is usually a number of different photoradar violations. They all batch up and they stack up together, and then they get them all at once. We've seen people get 2 of them. We've seen people get 9 of them. We've seen even more than that. We've represented one person on over 30 photoradar violations. This is my biggest problem with photoradar. What they do is they batch up. So let's say, for example, you're stopped by a live police officer. The police officer will stop you. He'll say, hey, you were going a little too fast. Sign a copy of this ticket. And now you're on notice that you were speeding. You know immediately because you're stopped and you have a conversation with the police officer about it. So you have the opportunity to correct your behavior. You're immediately on notice. You can immediately change. With photoradar, what ends up happening is people don't know about it. They'll go to work. They'll get flashed, they'll go home from work, they'll get flashed. They'll do that multiple times. They'll go through 2 weeks, going to work, coming home from work, going to work, coming home from work, and they'll rack up a bunch of tickets. Like I said, we've had people with 9 to 14 tickets because they got one on the way to work and on the way home from work, and they will all batch up. They will not come in the mail one by one. So about 10 to 12 to 20 days will go by, and then they'll process all of them together, and then they'll all be sent out in the mail. And if you get them all in the mail, it's the same process that you want to contest them all. You want to challenge the jurisdiction of all of them. So if somebody comes to you and serves you with a stack of those tickets, you've been served, you have to do something with those now. You cannot ignore them. The popular kind of common conception is you can ignore photoradar tickets unless you're served. The long and short of it is that's true. Unless you're responding to them, or unless you write a letter to the judge, or unless you're served, just getting a ticket in the mail is not service. It's not proper service of you. The court doesn't have any actual jurisdiction over you or your ticket. That's why when you get stopped by an officer, you sign for it. You acknowledge that you received it. But with photoradar, stuff gets lost in the mail every day. They can't prove that you got that ticket unless you give them reason to do so. Unless you go into court, unless you write a letter from the judge, unless you fill out the form and send that back, then they know that you got it. But unless they can prove that you got it, they don't have jurisdiction over your case. So it's the same rules. Even if you get 1 or you get 10 of them, you're going to want to avoid contacting the court. Do not contact the court unless you have been served with the ticket. Served or alternatively served, that means you get a notice that says that consider this alternative service. They send you a copy via certified mail, and they tape a copy to your garage or your front door. That's called alternative service. Scottsdale is the only city in Arizona that we've seen do that. So unless you're served or alternatively served, do not contact the court. If you contact the court and ask them questions, or you go into court, or you send a letter to the judge, or you fill out the form, you're waiving the jurisdictional issue. You have now forfeited your right to challenge it any further. You also don't want to do DDS for any of the tickets. DDS is defensive driving school. So sometimes people will get 1 or 2 and they'll think, I'm just going to go do driving school on one of them. Then they'll get 3, 4, and 5 in the mail. Now what you've done is you've precluded us, your lawyer, or anybody you decide to hire from using defensive driving school as a negotiating point in your case. So say we have 5 tickets, we want to go in, we want to have a negotiation with whoever is representing the state or the city in the court, and we want to say, we'll make a deal with you, dismiss 3, we'll pay 1 and go to driving school on 1. If you use your driving school option, we don't have that anymore, and so we lose that as a bargaining tool. The other thing that's important is you don't want to pay any of them. Of course, if you pay them, you're going to, of course, be out of pocket for the cost, but what many people don't realize is that all photoradar tickets have points on that would be assessed to your license. Doesn't matter if you're in state or out of state, Arizona will assess points. Red light tickets are 2 points, speeding tickets are 3 points. So they will add up very quickly, especially if you get a number of them delivered to you at once. Do not start paying them unless, of course, you want to do that. If you want to pay them and accept responsibility for it, you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to ignore all of this advice and just do whatever you want to do, but certainly don't recommend it if you're trying to avoid fines and points and potentially a license suspension. In Arizona, if you accumulate too many points, your license will be suspended, or you'll have to go do other things like take traffic survival school. It can end up costing you a lot of money. So as I said, follow the standard advice. I have a 30 minute video on this YouTube channel about the nuts and bolts of how exactly to challenge one photo radar ticket, but it applies to all of them. Just because you got multiple of them doesn't mean that you can start trying to piecemeal it and start resolving one by itself and doing driving school for one, paying one, and try to negotiate to get another one dismissed. Not advised, because you're going to probably end up screwing it up. So give us a call. This is something that we will handle for you. We'll handle them all together. The goal when we have this situation is to avoid points. In Arizona, as I said, speeding tickets are 3 points. Photo radars are 3 points if it's a speeding ticket. Unless it's a school zone, it's 2. But 3 points, they'll add up very quickly. 3 photo radar tickets times 3 points is 9 points. 3 times 3 is 9. A DUI in Arizona is only 8 points. So with 3 photo radar tickets, you can be charged with more points than you would get for a DUI. They add up very, very, very quickly. And so we want to keep people on the road. Most of the time, these are just simple oversights. My argument always is, if you would have been stopped on the first photo radar ticket, you would have known what the speed limit is in that area. You would have corrected your behavior. The likelihood of you getting photo radar 2, 3, 4, and 5 would probably go away, because you would know that you tend to go a little bit fast in that area. With photo radar, you're not afforded that opportunity to make that correction. They just batch them all up. You get 10 tickets in a row. It's a big problem. So do yourself a favor, call an attorney. This is something that you should not play around with on your own. I've seen a lot of people go through the process, try to figure it out on their own, and then call us and say, hey, I'm in over my head. By the time they call us, they've waived a lot of our defenses. They've waived the jurisdictional issues. They've already made a number of admissions that we can't get them out of, and it becomes a big problem. Sometimes we have to say, look, there's almost nothing we can do because of the fact that you waited. So give us a call. Let us take a look at your situation, take a look at your license, and see what we can do to help. We offer free case evaluations. We're happy to speak with you. So give us a call. We look forward to talking with you soon, and thanks for watching.